Hey, it's Tim again, your bankruptcy attorney. We've got your 341 hearing coming up, so I wanted to send you this quick video to kind of talk about what's going to happen there, so you have an expectation of what's going on. I will follow up with a phone call before our hearing, so we will get a chance to talk, and I'll be able to answer your questions, but I just want to give you an overview of what the 341 hearing looks like. The 341 hearing is probably going to be the only hearing you have in your case. And what this is it's a chance for our bankruptcy trustee to ask you some questions, to verify some basic information about you, and make sure that everything is set up right and that everything on the documents that we provided is truthful and accurate, okay? So this hearing will be done by Zoom meeting, so make sure you're prepared for that. We will have sent you a link for the Zoom or a meeting ID number and a passcode. So we want to make sure we have that. We want to make sure we know what time and what day our hearing is scheduled for. Again, I will call you before then to verify that stuff and to make sure that you have all the information you need, but just ahead of time, try to make sure you've got that ready and it's accessible for you. Once you're logged into the Zoom meeting, first thing first, make sure your device is muted. So if you're using a cell phone or a computer or a laptop, make sure you hit that little button on the bottom left, the little volume symbol, turn that off so your microphone isn't on. That means you're muted, so you'll be able to hear and see what's going on, but no one will be able to hear you. And you want to stay muted until the trustee calls your case. When the trustee calls your case, unmute yourself and then you'll be heard, okay? Once that's done, once you're muted and you're on your screen, then just kind of listen, pay attention to what's going on. You'll probably have the chance to hear the trustee do a few other hearings before it's your turn, so you'll have a better idea of exactly what they're going to ask, but I'm going to go over that with you right now. So the first thing first, they're going to swear you in. Do you swear to tell the truth? Yes, I do. And then the trustee's going to verify three basic pieces of information. They're going to verify your full name, the street that you live on, and the last 4 digits only of your social security number. Okay, and then after that, the trustee's gonna ask, they're gonna make sure that you read and reviewed everything that was prepared in your case. So for example, the trustee may say, prior to your bankruptcy being filed, did you have an opportunity to read and review all the documents your attorney prepared for you in the case? And you'll of course say yes. They'll say, was all the information true and accurate when your case was filed? Again, you'll say yes. Is there anything that's changed that needs to be brought to my attention today? Now, that depends on your situation. If everything is the same as it was when your case was filed, your answer is no. If something has changed, you've moved, you've changed jobs, what have you, then we'll say yes, and then we'll tell the trustee what it is that's changed. All right. Then the trustee will ask, did you sign or acknowledge all the documents before they were filed? Again, you're going to say yes. And then the last question, and you have to say yes to this question for the case to go forward. They're going to ask you, did you read and understand the bankruptcy information statement that was sent to you? Now, this is a document we mail to you. It's a one-page, two-sided document. A lot of times it's on like a fluorescent colored paper. Sometimes it's on a white page. But it talks about the different chapters of bankruptcy and what they do. When the trustee asks that question, you have to say yes. Otherwise, they will put us on hold and make us go back and read it and come back to us 20 minutes and a half an hour later, okay? All right, once we're finished with that section, then the trustee's gonna just talk about some basic assets, things you may or may not own, that sort of stuff. And usually the questions about assets fall under 4 major categories. 1 is real estate, 2 would be businesses, 3 would be inheritances, and 4 would be lawsuits. So the trustee would say, for example, do you, Mr. Smith, Mrs. Smith, do you own any real estate? And your answer is either yes or no. If you own a house or some real estate property, you say yes. If you don't, you say no. Then they'll probably ask, have you owned any real estate in the last 6 years? Same thing, yes or no. Do you own a business? Yes or no. Have you owned a business in the last 4 years? Okay. Do you have any reason to believe you're going to inherit anything in the next year or so? And finally, do you have any lawsuits pending against someone, or do you have any reason to sue anybody? Now, you've probably noticed by now that most of the questions that they're going to ask you can be answered with a simple yes or no. And I want you to remember that and stick with that. All right, if a question can be answered with a yes or a no, then just say yes or say no and stop talking. Don't feel like you have to go on or explain or give detail. Just say yes or no, unless the trustee then asks for detail. All right, if they ask you for detail, then go ahead and elaborate to the extent they request, but don't feel like you have to justify or explain things. Just say yes or no, okay? Real important, that'll make things happen a lot quicker. These hearings typically only last like 5 minutes if you stick to the plan and say yes or no. Obviously, you want to tell the truth. That's the most important thing. And then finally, if you don't know the answer to a question, do not try to guess. It's important that we get a clear and accurate record, but if you don't know the answer to something that the trustee is asking you about, it's okay to say that you don't know, that you don't remember, you can't recall. That's fine, as long as it's true, okay? So stick to yes or no, tell the truth, I don't know if it's appropriate, and only give detail when specifically asked, all right? Again, this hearing is very important, but it's not a real complicated thing. So I don't want you to worry too much. It's going to go smoothly as long as we stick to the rules that we just talked about. Again, I will call you to give you more detail as we get closer to that date. Usually I call the day before, or if the hearing's on a Monday, I call the Friday before. Z or Nicole will give you that detail once we get to that point. But remember, stick with yes or no, tell the truth. If you don't know, you don't know. And the hearing will take probably about half as long as this video did. So good luck. Everything's going well in your case so far, and I will see you soon. Thanks.